everybody, I'm Mike from Regala Photography, where we talk about everything photography. Today, we are going to go through my entire Lightroom workflow from importing photos. I'm going to show you how I organize them. And then we are going to go through importing and then editing and then exporting. Okay. Hopefully it'll be a quick video. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to go into complete detail because some of the stuff would make this video like extremely long. So I'm just going to touch on all the basics that I do. Okay. So here we go. You can see right here, I have Finder open. Okay. I'm on a Mac and I have a photos folder and I have this on my external hard drive. And that's where I keep my Lightroom library as on an external hard drive. So if you do that, you got to make sure that whenever you open Lightroom, that hard drive has to be plugged in. If you ever change hard drives, then you got to make a new library on that hard drive. Okay. You won't lose your photos or anything like that. They'll still be on the old library, but you'll have to make a new library. So anyway, you can see I have 3 folders in my photo album. I have my EOS R, which is where I have the camera I used to shoot with. I have Photoshop, which is where I save some of my Photoshop files. And then I got my Canon R5, which is what I'm using right now. Okay, so I'll open up the Canon R5. And you can see I have a folder in there, 2023. So this has all my photos from this current year of 2023. Okay, open that up. And now you can see I have all the months or all the days, I should say, not just the months, but the days. So every day that I went out and shot some photos, I would put the date along with the year, just in case something got messed up. I always put the year in there with it. And I would have that all there. So now the last time I went out was yesterday. So I will open up August 29th. And you can see I have a folder with the name of what the pictures were of. Usually it's the location and what it is. So in this case, it was Charlotte, New York. Not Charlotte, North Carolina, but Charlotte, New York, which is right over here by Lake Ontario. And they were midday photos. So I just kind of come up with a short title to name them. So, and then I open that up and you can see these are all my raw files. Okay. They are all in there. These are all the raw files that I have saved. Okay. So now what we do is we go into Lightroom and then I click on the import right here. And then I will navigate to where I keep those raw files. Okay. So you can see here, they're on my Samsung T7 Shield, which is my external hard drive. There's the photos folder that I showed. Here's the R5 folder, the 2023 folder, and the day, August 29th, 2023. And then Charlotte midday, which is where the photos were. I would click on that folder, okay? And then I will go over and click import. They're already imported, so that's why it's grayed out. So I'm going to cancel that. And then here's the raw files. So you can see I already started editing some of the photos in here. You can see the ones that are a little different than the raw files, okay? So these are the raw files. Now, when it comes to culling, okay, that means sorting through your photos. I'm not going to lie, I do this the long way, okay? And I just scroll down and I don't bother giving them stars or colors or numbers or whatever. I just go through and if I see a thumbnail I think looks good, I'll double click it, open it up, see if I like it. And then I will, edit the photo. I mean, I keep it simple. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. So just gonna scroll down here and I think I will choose where's some good. Oh, let's see. I want to do one. We'll do maybe this one. you know what? We'll do this one. Oh, I already did that one. Okay, I don't want to do that one again. Let me see. You know what? We'll just do this one right here. So I will double click it and it's going to open it up in large. So I'll double check it, make sure this is what I wanted, the photo I want to do. Okay, and I'll look at it. And then if it is, I'll come over and click the develop module. Okay. And now in the develop module, I'm going to look first things first. I'm going to see how my horizon is. And it looks like it might be a little crooked. So, and I'll just come in and the first thing I'll do is I'll click auto. It doesn't always work when it comes to straightening it. But with this photo, let me see, let me close it out. It looks pretty good. Like it's straightened everything out. Everything looks pretty straight right now. Here's the horizon. Here's the vertical. Okay, so it looks pretty good. So if it didn't, then I will go back in here and I would use the slider right here. And then I could change the leveling to make sure my horizon is level. Okay, so let me close that up. And now I go into the basic module. Now, here's where yours is probably going to be different than mine. I pick a profile. However, I started using linear profiles, several months ago. And I'll tell you, I'm not going back to camera profiles or any other profile. Basically, a linear profile is a profile that's created based on your camera. Now, I'm not going to go into detail showing you how to make the linear files. You can actually find them online. Sometimes you get them for free. Sometimes you got to pay for them. They're pretty much all the same. I can't remember I think I might have paid for these actually. I mean, creators, we, spend a lot of time and effort and creating stuff. So I want to support the creator. I can't remember which creator I got them from, but you could do a Google search, or actually the best thing to do is go to YouTube, type in linear profile, and then your camera name. So for me, it would be linear profile, Canon R5. And then you do a search and you find a video that you think that appears pretty good that you want to follow. And you can either create your own if they show you, or you can buy it from the creator. I might actually do a video showing you how to create them. They're not terribly hard to do. It's just quite a few steps. So you just gotta make sure you get them all right and do them in order. But I'll go here and I'll click on my profile, and down here you see linear Canon EOS R5. And I'll click on that, and you can see it kind of made everything even more neutral compared to what the raw file was. Okay. And or I should say what I normally do, what I do a lot of times is I will go and I'll start from there and I'll start doing a correction. However, one thing I learned about linear is that once you click on the linear profile, come on over here and click auto. And when you click auto, it will generate usually pretty darn good settings to get you started at least, okay? I mean, quite honestly, I probably could just keep this photo as is and export it out, okay? I usually don't, because I like to kind of, continue on and kind of perfect it a little bit more, all right? But this is what you come out with. So, I mean, it's really not bad. I mean, here, if you go before, here's the raw file, okay? And then after, before, and then after. Now you can see I have my highlights on here. So I'm blowing out actually, let me see. Do I have this one on? There. I have the red is the highlights, and the blacks, or the blue, I should say, are the blacks. Okay. And what I'll usually do next is I'll come on over, and I don't want to clip, not always, sometimes I will, but I don't want to clip the blacks. So I'm going to kind of take off some of the blacks, and then I'm going to try with the highlight. A lot of times you can't always save the highlights, but I save most of them. And then what I'll do sometimes is I'll lower the whites a little bit. And then I got the highlights all where I'm not clipping. There's maybe a couple in here I'm not too concerned with. And then what I'll do is I'll either increase or decrease the exposure depending on where I want to go. Now, if you notice, the highlights will eventually start to clip again, okay? And I'm going to kind of fix that later. So right now I'm just going to try to get my general exposure where I want it. Okay. And then I'll kind of go through here in the shadows. Do I want to darken them? No, I want to kind of lighten them up a little bit. Contrast. I usually don't touch contrast. I usually use the whites and the blacks for my contrast. Okay. Now, speaking of contrast and also sharpening as well, excuse me, I'll come down here to the presence part of the basic tab and I go to clarity. Clarity is, it's not really it kind of sharpens, but it uses contrast to sharpen. So what I'll do is, a lot of times they tell you not to use positive clarity. I kind of like it a little bit. So I'll come in here and I'll give you a little bit of positive clarity. If you go too much, you can see it kind of gets a little too crisp and too phony looking. But I'll give it a little bit of an increase. And then I'll do a little bit on the texture. Now texture, it fine tunes the smaller details. Okay. Now again, you can see my highlights are continue to be blown out. Now, keep in mind, this was shot midday. It was probably actually around noon. And so these highlights are going to pretty much be where they are. I'm not too concerned because it's just the boat, the paint. There's really no detail in that part of the boat anyway. So I'm not too concerned with that. They're just the reflections. The sun was actually coming over here from the top, actually above here more. So the top right-hand side of the photo, right about there, it was coming right down. So that's why my highlights are clipped. All right. So for the most part, this tab is good. I'm not going to touch the temperature. White balance came pretty good. I tweaked what Lightroom gave me with the auto after the linear profile. And I got what I consider a pretty good start. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I go down to my details tab and I'm going to do my sharpening. If I'm doing portraits of people, I won't necessarily do it this way. I'll try and see how it works. But usually what I do is I take my radius all the way down, my details all the way up. I take my sharpening to maybe just below 90 somewhere. Now here's the little trick, masking. Click on the masking tool, but then hold down your option key on a Mac. I'm not really sure what it is on a PC, but hold the option key. Now you can see how it shows me, and all the white is where there's going to be sharpening. So I'm going to mask out, like I don't want the cloud sharpened. So I'm going to mask out most of what I don't want sharpened. And now only the white is going to be sharpened. Okay. And so the fact that I did all this, a lot of times people say, well, you want to keep the radius up a little bit. You don't want to give all the details, but I'm not sharpening the whole photo. I'm only sharpening the main parts of the photo. And so that'll give it a little bit of a pop. Okay. And when I'm going to do something a little later that's actually going to take that, not I don't want to say take it away, but kind of ease it up a little bit. Okay. So there's my sharpening. That was my next step. Calibration. If you notice, I moved this up a little bit because I wanted the calibration up here as one of my first steps. So here's where I just start playing around. I usually don't touch the tint, but what I will do is I'll come on over here. First, I'll check the reds. How do I want my reds to look? So if I go here, you can see it starts to turn kind of greenish, which, again, sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But if you go the other way, it kind of tames it a little bit. And I think, I'm going to go this way a little bit, just a tad. And then I went to like a -6, and I'm going to saturate it just a tad. Now I'll do the same thing with my greens, my green primaries. Go all the way this way. And I'll see if I go to the left towards the yellows, you can see how everything starts to turn yellow. I don't really want that with this particular photo. I don't want that. So I'm going to, again, go closer to the green. And I don't want to go too far though. And you can see the trees actually it tamed those trees down a lot where they were really bright yellow. Now only the highlights are yellow. And let me see, do I want to saturate that a little bit? No, I don't. I want to kind of keep that just a little bit, maybe +2. Now the blues, I don't usually touch them. I might go here and brighten them a little bit, again, because that's going to be mostly the sky. But if you go too far to the right, you see it starts to turn purple. And if you go too far to the left, you start to get teal, okay, or cyan. So Sometimes I'll just hit the saturation just a little bit, and then I may have to come up here and kind of tweak it just a little bit as well. Because if you think about it, blue, actually, no, I want to say yellow and green. Yeah, blue is yellow and green. Okay. So if it's obvious, if I go down and I saturate it, I'm also going to saturate the yellows and the greens. Okay. And I don't want to do that. So I took it down just a little bit. And there's my calibration. Okay. Now here's where I kind of play. I kind of change it up. I don't always go in the same order. I might go to a tone curve. I'll try a simple S curve. So let me go and I will do this, that, and I'll put right there. And so what I want to do is kind of come up a little bit with the highlights. And then I want to come down a little bit with, not too much, but just a little bit. Now, if you notice when you did that, it adds contrast, which also increases your saturation. So you got to keep that in mind. Again, that's why I didn't go too crazy with the saturation in the basics tab, because again, here's what happens. All right. So there's my tone curve. I kind of like what that did. Next, HSL. Click on the HSL. Usually the only colors I ever have to really mess with, and again, it all depends. Every photo is different, but the greens and the yellows, they can be annoying. Too much greens can really mess up a photo. Also, too much blue sometimes too can as well. But again, it depends on the photo, obviously. But you want to kind of tame them down a little bit. So in the hue, if I play around with the green, I can go more yellow, okay? Or I can go more towards the bluish. Now, I'm probably going to go a little more towards yellow, but then at the same time, I am going to mess with this. And I'm going to actually desaturate these in a minute. So again, I hardly touched the hue on this particular one because I'm going to go to the saturation and fix that. My other colors, I'm not really going to touch. I think the blues look good. And actually, I'm going to be playing around with a plugin a little bit later on that's going to give this a little more pop. Okay. So saturation, again, greens and yellows. I'm going to desaturate the greens a little, not quite a bit actually, about 30, minus 34. And then the yellows, I'm going to desaturate them, not as much, maybe to a -6. Let's bring up the green just a little bit more. Okay. Right there. Now I do want the red here to pop a little bit. Now keep in mind, you also have reds over here. So let me see if I remember. I can't remember how this worked. Oh, if I do this, okay. Oh, that's right. If you take this right here, this little slider, click it. Now you can come on over here, and this is going to tell you, if you click and then go up and down, it's going to tell you what colors. So if you want to desaturate the oranges and the reds, you can do that right there. If I want to desaturate my yellows, again, I could do this. I could play around. I should have done this the first time. I always forget about this trick, but I'm going to increase it just a little bit. And you can see it actually plays around with the oranges. See, if you look at my sliders moving, it moved the oranges a little bit. It moved the yellows, and then it lightly moves the greens. Okay, so we're going to pop them up a little bit. The red, let me see with the red. It's only just touching the red, so we're going to do that right there. The blues, let's see what the blues. Slide them around, come up and down, see if we can really make those blues. I mean, this is a really nice blue. I love this blue, which means I do want to make this, because yellow is the opposite color of blue. Okay, it's a complementary color. So I do want to have that yellow in there, and I want to take that green and pop the green down just a little bit, make the yellow come out. And let me go back to hue over here. And let me click off of this real quick. And then I do want to make my greens a little bit more yellow. There we go. Just like that. And now luminance, again, with the greens. Do I want to brighten them or do I want to darken them? I kind of want to brighten. In this case, I want to brighten them. Many times I will darken them. Okay. The yellows, I want to take some of the edge off of that. Reds, do I want to brighten? I do want to brighten the reds. See the flag right there? Right over here on there. You can see how they brighten up a lot. So again, there's my HSL. All right. So let me click out of that. Now, I don't do vignetting in Lightroom. I'm going to show you a couple different tricks. So I actually do it in Lightroom sometimes, but I don't use the effects tab. So now what I'm going to do is to go for local masking. So local masking, here's what I'm going to do. I'll click that. First thing I'm going to do, my sky looks pretty good, but I want to kind of make it pop a little bit. So I'm going to click the sky, and you can see the sky. You can see where the mask is. Does a pretty good job of it. All right. So now the first thing I do before I touch anything, go to clarity. And I kind of up my clarity a little bit. And you can see clarity actually does mess with your contrast. So be careful with it. But because it does mess with it, it'll harden up the edges sometimes. And you don't really want that in your clouds. Bring your texture down. And it'll make it almost like cotton candy, your clouds. Okay. So you don't want to go too much all the time because you do want to have a little bit of that contrast, but soften them up a little bit. So now, do I want, let me see here. I don't really need any exposure. I do want to add some whites though. Brighten it up just a little bit. Don't want to pop out the highlights and blow them out. Let me see. Really, the sky just does not need much. A lot of times when you touch a sky, it just you have to do a lot to it because you blow out the highlights or you want to bring back the detail or whatever. So a lot of times I'll either mess with the exposure. If I bring the exposure down, see, it was a bright day, so I don't want to touch that. This was actually a pretty good representation of my sky right here. So for the sky, that's pretty much it. All right. So now I want to add another mask, and I'm going to let's do radial filter. So I'm going to take a radial filter, and here's where we're going to kind of try to eliminate these highlights or these overblown highlights here. So what we're going to do is this, and I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Like that right there. All right. So now let me come back up here to the highlights, and we'll bring them down just a little bit. And then we'll bring the whites down. See how we almost got rid of the highlights? I might increase the exposure just a little bit to bring back that brightness. And then I'm going to come on over, do a little contrast and texture just to kind of see. Again, those highlights wouldn't have really, they didn't really say much. I got a little bit blown out over here. Again, I'm not too concerned with it. And a couple right back over in here. I'm not concerned with that. So, again, just don't go too anal with it. But, you don't want your highlights completely blown out. But if you have a few, it's not going to matter. Okay. All right. Now what I want is a linear profile or a linear gradient. And I want to kind of almost like vignette this out a little bit. It's not really a vignette. But then I'm going to come on up over to here, bring my exposure down. Okay. Like that. I do want to bring the whites up a little bit, bring my blacks down. And I want to bring my shadows down because I want these shadows right here of the guardrails. I want to make sure I keep them there because that's definitely a big part. And then clarity, and I got to begin with clarity. It's going to increase the brightness, the contrast a little bit. So it might increase your whites a little bit. And then the texture. Now, a lot of times I'll actually blur that out. But because in this case, I want that detail there, but I want it darker because I want the focus to be more back here into the picture and not necessarily up here. Now these right here, I'm not too concerned. I can play around with this. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do that. And we'll bring my shadows back up a little bit. And again, I'm not too overly concerned with that. Okay. So there's that right there. Now, do I see anything else? Look around. I got stuff over here. I do want the focus to be down here more and on the flag as well. So I'm going to make another radial filter. Okay. And tell you, learn how to use your radial filters. They are amazing. Okay. And they can do so much to really make your photo pop. All right. So again, you can see the area. Here is your focal part where the most intense part of this mask is going to be right in here. And then it kind of starts to feather out. And you can see right here is the end of the feather. Okay. And again, you can change that up here in your settings up over, here they are. Here's your feather right there. All right. So I want to increase that brightness right there. I'm going to get rid of those overblown highlights. Ignore that. Okay. So we're going to pop that just a little bit more. And now you can see when I pop that, over here in the foreground looks like it's even darker now. Okay. Now I'm also going to, just a very little, I want to increase the warmth, the white balance, just a little bit. I went up to like 7. Okay. And then I'm going to saturate it a little bit. I'm going to increase my whites. Oops, not too much. And I'm going to bring the highlights down again because I just want that. Now you can see I kind of brought it back here in the boats, but I'm not, again, I did that other radial filter so I can do this. Because if I would have done that other radial filter and then done this one, these highlights would have been like completely washed. I mean, even though they are right now, there's no detail in there. All these boats just would have been just completely white. And I don't want that at all. So, and then I'm going to increase my clarity just a little bit. Or do I want to decrease it? I'm going to decrease it actually a little bit, but I'm going to increase the texture. Okay. Now I'm going to do another radial filter. And here's how you do your vignette. I may have showed you this before, this trick. But what I do is I make it almost the size of my photo. You can change it in a minute. So I'm going to kind of center it. And you don't always center a vignette. It all depends what your subject is. If your subject is closer to the middle, well, then you want to, center your vignette. But if your subject is over to the side, you want to bring attention to it, then you can move the center of your vignette. But if you look, I said before that the red part is where the mask is going to affect. I don't want that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click invert. And now in here, it's not going to touch anything in here. It's all going to touch on the outside. So now I take my exposure and I bring that down just a little bit. And again, you can see why I didn't do much with the sky, because it darkened the sky a little bit around here. And now you can see all the attention is on this flag. And I'm actually going to bring even more attention to that flag in a minute. But it brought all the attention here to the middle. Now, one last mask. I am going to do object. And we're going to click my brush. And all I'm going to do is just boom, boom. You don't have to be perfect. And boom, like that. Let it go. And Lightroom masking is amazing. I'm actually just going to increase my whites. Bring some attention to that right there. And then a little bit on the exposure. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, and then I want to increase the clarity, because those shadows, it's going to make the waves kind of pop in there. Okay, and that, right now, for Lightroom, you can end it right here if you want to. Okay, but I do like to continue on a little bit. Sometimes if I need to, I'll go, before I do all my edits, I'll go into Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop Beta. And if I need to remove something with generative fill or the remove tool, or if I need to, tweak something in Photoshop, I will. But what I like to do is I want to right click and I'm going to edit in Luminar Neo. I'm not a huge fan of Luminar Neo as a standalone editor. Okay. I don't like what it does, but it does have a couple of tools in there that I really, really like to do. So while Lightroom is doing its thing over here, here comes Luminar Neo. And I don't really use the preset. Again, I don't necessarily like the way it does a lot of the stuff in here. But there are a couple tools that I really, really like. One of them is structure, which is kind of like a combination of clarity and texture. Again, a lot of people will tell you, go negative. Okay. And you can go negative if you want to, and it'll smooth out some stuff a little bit. And it'll kind of make it more, just more natural looking. But we're going to kind of tweak some stuff a little bit in a minute. So I'm going to go positive a little bit. And again, you can see the clouds. It kind of put a little more detail in the sky. I usually don't do boost. Once in a while I will, but I'll do that. Then I'll come up and I'll just do a slight, just a slight accent under enhance. See, if you go too much, you can see it's changing a lot. I don't want to do that. I just want a little bit. And then sky enhancer, I'll touch it sometimes, but usually what it's doing, it's basically just a dehaze, and it's just making my sky darker, and I don't want to do that. And I hate messing with the sky too much because then you get some weird artifacts and stuff like that in there. Landscape, golden hour. Sometimes I like to add a little bit. Again, I don't want this too warm, but it was a fairly clear day. I mean, the sun was shining. And foliage, once in a while I'll touch that. But for the most part, I won't. The haze in here, I won't touch it. It's just way too aggressive. So, and then details. I'll come in. I usually increase my large. And again, it depends on the photo. This is a landscape photo, so I'm going to increase it. Medium, just a little bit. And then the small details I'll actually kind of decrease. Okay. And that kind of balances out everything. Now, this is the big tool that I really, really like. Mystical. All right. Mystical. It's kind of like an Orton effect almost, but it kind of softens everything up. And again, that's why when I did that structure, you see if I go too far, it looks more like an Orton effect. I don't want to go that much because it just looks too dreamy. But just, go to, 30, whatever amount. Shadows, if you need to bring back your shadows a little bit, you can. Sometimes I'll actually go negative with the shadows. Saturation, again, you got to be careful with this, but you can see if I go saturation, it acts more like a vibrance, and it's only saturating not the whole photo, but what Mystical is doing. So it's just doing that, and you can see it's doing more of the temperature. So what I want to back that off a little bit. So I'll kind of go a little bit on the cooler side, a little bit. So I'm still warm back here, but again, over here and over here and over here, I'm still below. My sky, again, it's not. It's not like all crazy, like I did a video a couple of weeks ago about blacks in the sky, and the color black should, even on a stormy sky. I mean, maybe if it's like a hurricane, like it is in Florida this week, maybe then it's black. Again, I never experienced a hurricane, so I'm not really sure, but usually you don't see pure black clouds. Okay. So you'll get dark clouds, but a dark gray, not black. So, but you can see it's just, I got some grays in there. It was a cloudy day. Okay. So there they are. Now, one last trick. Especially if I did not use that vignette or that radial filter in Lightroom, the vignette in Luminar Neo, I really like how it works. Okay. You could choose your subject too. And that's a cool thing too. So like in Lightroom, you could take your radial filter and move it around. This one, you could choose your subject. Now, for me, I just want the vignette to be centered. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. But if you go too far, you can see up in the corners, it might get a little too dark on you. So you don't want to go too crazy. And especially since we already did kind of add a little bit of a vignette. But what I like is you can add your inner light. Okay. Remember had to do a double radial filter in Lightroom. This is all in one tool. Okay. So I can brighten up the middle, or I could bring it back a little bit and keep it. So I got it where I brought my focus back here in the middle. Got more contrast now, a little more saturation, but it's not overly done. Don't forget, it's a landscape photo. It's not a portrait. If I was doing a portrait, most likely I wouldn't even bring it into Luminar Neo. Maybe because they do have some pretty cool portrait tools that work okay to some degree. But again, I would do most of my stuff in Lightroom, and I have a few other tools that I would actually use first. But pretty much that's it for the editing process. Send that back over to Lightroom. Just like that. Okay, and now again, my highlights are blown out a little bit. I'm not concerned. If I turn off my monitors, my monitor here, my highlight and my clipping monitor, so I should call it. Again, this is not terrible where it is. If it was up here in the sky or down in here somewhere, maybe I would try to fix it. But if they're white boats in bright sunlight, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But you can see how, again, the foreground is darkened a little bit, and it kind of frames the flag in this whole center area right here. Okay. Now, exporting. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but what I usually do is I'll go to the file, I'll click export. Now, I already have a folder. In fact, let me do this right now real quick. I'll do if you already exported your first folder, what I'm about to show you is that if you already exported before, then all you got to do is go to export with previous. It'll just send it to that folder. But export, I click here, and now you got your export screen. Now, again, I'm not going to go into how I did all this. I might make a separate video on this. But exporting, I created presets for photos. If I'm going to print them, I put them in a separate location for where I have all my photos for print. And I would click that. And then I have one, I use this one. This is my social media one. This one is like a social media, very, very low resolution. I'll use that one if I'm going to send some proofs to a client or something like that. That way they won't try to print the photo because it's going to come out really, really bad because it's very, very low resolution. But for social media on Facebook, I'll click this right here. Now it's also going to put a watermark on. I have it set for a watermark. I'm actually in the process of making a new watermark. But it'll put a watermark on there automatically for me where I don't have to do that. And again, because it's for social media, that's why I put the watermark on there. Okay. And then I would click batch export. Okay. And I'm going to click that. And now you come to this folder. So here I would change the name. So in this case, I would call it, Charlotte Midday. Okay. And then I would click choose a folder, and you can see here, I already have a folder set up. This is the folder, and I keep this one in my cloud. Okay. And you're thinking, well, why am I doing this? It's like redundancy. Well, whenever you're saving something digitally, you want to be redundant. But in this case, I do it because I do a lot of my social media stuff from either my phone or my iPad. So because it's up in the cloud, these are just JPEGs, so they're not taking up a ton of room. They're only about maybe 5-6 megapixels each. And I have them right there so I can do all my social media stuff from my phone and from my iPad. And plus I do have the 2 terabyte iCloud drive. So I have plenty of storage. So I'm good to go right there. But I would save it. I would choose that. There's my folder. And then I'll just click export. Again, it's already saved there. I already redid it. I would just click say export, and it will send it over for me. Okay. So that pretty much, everybody, is my workflow. And I know that was kind of a long video, but hopefully YouTube will do the chapters for you. But anyway, hopefully you learned something. My workflow for editing, trust me, it's not perfect. I'm sure there's probably some easier, faster, better ways to edit a photo and improve my workflow. I probably could have shortened this up a lot, even a lot faster. Okay. And maybe if I was doing weddings and stuff like that, I would probably develop a faster way. But also too, some of the steps I would not do, like I would not be going into Luminar Neo if I was doing wedding photos. Okay, maybe for a few exceptional photos, but for the most part, I would not be going in anyway. I would just do some quick edits. I would probably make presets for weddings and then just apply the preset. I probably wouldn't even use the linear profile. I would make a preset for weddings and then tweak the preset. So, but again, it's just the way I've been doing things. I'm always refining it a little bit. I do want to kind of figure out a better way to organize my photos on my drives, make it easier. I want to start using keywords. Keywords in Lightroom are definitely a very smart way to go. And I probably should start culling and start doing, 1 star, 2 star, 5 stars, whatever. So I have my photos. I don't know. A lot of times I'll see a photo that might have been a 1 star or a 2 star, but I'll play around, like maybe a new plugin will come out or I'll learn a new trick in Photoshop and I'll use that photo and all of a sudden I'll make a 5-star photo out of a photo that was a 2-star photo. So again, that's why you never really delete your photos because you never know when you can use them. But anyway, hopefully this helps. If you found my video helpful, please click that like button and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, I'm finding out very quickly that it really does help boost YouTubers up in the analytics for YouTube. So please, if you get a chance, just click that like button and hit that subscribe button. Don't worry, you won't be getting a ton of notifications and stuff like that. Matter of fact, you won't really be getting anything. But just hit that subscribe button. That way, when you'll see more and more of my videos. Ring that bell if you want to be notified when my next video is posted, and that way you will get a notification. Okay. But anyway, until next time, take care, everyone.